want to hold against a dive composition on this point?
So usually you want to start off like kind of aggressive to see if you can get some poke in, get the hook. If it doesn't get it, you need to fall back in like all of them together need to be falling back in one corner.
All right, well, here we are. We're going to be jumping straight into this one. It's going to be Ninjas in Pyjamas versus eUnited. Decide in the group stages who's going to be the second seed. NiP need to be taking 3 maps away from eUnited to get that second seed spot. eUnited going to be looking for opportunities throughout the map. But Zuppehw's going to be the first one to answer back at them, claiming the first plug onto uNFixed.
Yeah, Fragi already very low on his shield, but hymzi was able to actually get a hook onto Kruise, it seems, to be able to solidify that kill. So the first hole going to be going in NIP's way, which means they're going to have ult advantage, though not really much of an advantage. But now we're seeing eUnited switch some things up here. So TakeOver, we're seeing the fair picked up. Why necessarily?
It's probably because they need they're gonna go for more spam and they're just gonna take positions and they just spam the tanks out, and it's gonna take a little bit longer, but it's a pretty solid choice.
Oh, here we are. Sharyk's going to be moving to the back lines, drops the bubble down. vallutaja also just hanging around, eats a fire strike, forced to use that recall a bit early. It's a bit about into no man's land. Wow. The hook comes out from hymzi, collects it onto sharyk. That's pretty beautiful from him. Trading evenly so far though, but eUnited want a big move in into a bit of post bomb. Doesn't quite claim the kill that he was looking for. Still looking for even further frags here. Trading very evenly. I mean, in this situation, TakeOver, is this more of an advantage towards eUnited because they've got the shorter, I guess, spawn point, or how is this working out for them?
I actually would say it's more of an advantage towards NiP because they have this stronger composition to just stand their ground and just hold it. Well, even though they get spawners faster, the loser still, I'm pretty sure the loser died late now, but he would still be able to pick up the tanks so they would come back faster. And then, you know, because of them playing the tanks, they would be able to just hold their ground for much longer than eUnited ever would.
Right.
It's much harder for eUnited to stay in the push.
All right, well now Zuppehw, you can see him sitting very far back here, making sure that Transcendence does not get popped until they do need it, though. Kruise can be firing off rockets over towards the high ground. There's a attack visor being popped up by mafu, and the Transcendence being responded with. But somehow, even though there's a Transcendence, with Kruise not being in range of it, he gets dropped, and hymzi gets a kill on a sharyk because of the burst damage he can do.
I mean, I take that trade any day of the week. I think attack visor trading for the defensive support ultimate is going to be worthy. eUnited using one weapon in their arsenal there. vallutaja wants to try and initiate in with the pulse bomb. Bit of a late kill down to hymzi. His team's going to be roaming in as well. Mafu has to get shielded up. He's eating a lot of spam, and that's going to be the call there. sharyk wants to try and claim the kill onto him as he leaps into the inner area. Attack visor from uNFixed now going to be popped off, but it is going to be the Transcendence in response to that. Ninjas in Pyjamas just trying to heal themselves up. It's going to be the Graviton Surge actually connecting onto 2 of them. Kruise and sharyk in a bit of trouble. Zappis does have the damage to finish him off, but the promo rage was popped off onto sharyk in the meantime to keep him nice and healthy.
Cyber may use that as more as well just to keep his team healthy, but the problem is you do have an Earth Shredder ready for Fragi. Fragi to actually stop them in any sort of way, but vallutaja comes in for the backside. I believe their Shredder was consumed there. Yes, it was. I don't think any real kills came off the back of that in particular, but now 60 seconds remain. hymzi still looking to zone people, at least vallutaja off towards the right-hand side as that recall's going to come in to save him for now. But NIP blew pretty much every single ultimate they had in that last fight.
Yeah, I think this is the advantage, like you were saying, TakeOver, earlier. Ninjas in Pyjamas composition, because they held their ground, even though they were losing, I guess, the player advantage war by using a lot of their players, they could sustain the fight long enough to just get back into the fight and take it a 6v6. So Ninjas in Pyjamas still holding strong for now. eUnited do have ultimates to use. I think Kruise is probably going to be the man to watch. He's got that barrage waiting. They're using the Transcendence to initiate here for eUnited. They have moved Fragi forward. hymzi, or I should say mafu, going to be finding a kill onto Kruise anyway. There's 19 seconds remaining here. Ninjas in Pyjamas looking incredibly strong, still full holding them.
They got a barrage available for Kruise here at TakeOver, so they're going to try to get him in position, obviously, but with no other ultimates to really use and them committing their trance, what are the chances they can actually pull this off?
I think there's a really big chance they're gonna pull it off. It's just landing that the barrage like alone without any support ultimates or anything to help him really. It's really hard to do.
Kruise going to be using the barrage there. Yeah, doesn't get quite the maximum value out of it, but uNFixed is in the high ground, does claim the kill onto mafu. Trading equally. Boombox also trying to clutch it out for his team. Positioning from NiP, not quite there. The overtime taking down hymzi. Is on a bit of a flank though. Finds the hook onto uNFixed, brings him down. Still 2 ticks almost on the board here for eUnited. hymzi now moving on. He's got the whole hog to pop it off. Team's just waiting patiently. Goes for the hook. Doesn't quite work out for him. Is most likely going to fall. He doesn't want to try and heal up. vallutaja bringing them both down. Claims a triple kill in the end. The overtime will cap the point up here for eUnited.
So I'm curious here, TakeOver, because we saw in the fight before this one broke out, Boombox initiated with his Transcendence. I'm just curious in your point of view, when is it worth initiating with Transcendence versus using it very defensively?
I don't think it's almost ever in a good position to ever start off a fight with a support ult, really. You'd rather want to save them, especially when you're playing double support with double support ults. You really want to just save them for the offensive ultimates, just to make sure that you will always have something to answer with them. Otherwise, you're going to be lacking like a lot of sustain because you're playing Zenyatta and not Ana, as Ana has a lot of sustain and healing.
Oh, okay, eUnited were holding very aggressively. They used a couple of ultimates there. The Primal Rage was used on sharyk, but Kruise is just answering back. These kills are just popping off for them. uNFixed has the high ground position as well. A little bit of a cheeky attempt there in the background, but Morte will put a swift end to it. And Misfits, or Ninjas in Pyjamas, I should say, got Misfits on the mind. I'm going to be holding, regrouping as 6 for now.
Well, I mean, right now, NIP are struggling to get even out of their own spawn zone to get back into contest this payload. We're seeing eUnited take a lot of high ground positions. They're finally going to come out this left-hand side. Looks like they're going to take high position with the help of Fragi.
Oh, they should have continued on that soldier. Now he's just going to be able to get back up if he would have wanted, but they seems that they were still winning the fight.
Sound barrier was used by Nip to try and lead it forward. Vallutaja with a post bomb, claims 2 kills. Gets the D-Mech as well, just to follow suit, still putting in the damage. A tactical visor used by uNFixed, but he's stuck in the corner, gets beaten down by Fragi in the end. Trading quite evenly. eUnited do have ultimates to use into this next push, but 50 seconds on the board. Is that going to be enough time?
Well, we'll find out. This is actually where things get really interesting because NIP have no support ultimates to stop Kruise and the Dragon Blade from coming through. Just as we talk about, he gets himself a double kill onto mafu and hymzi. That's going to be easy pickings for him and his team, and that should be eUnited getting the second checkpoint here in just a few seconds.
That is lovely. Still a bit of contention happening from zappis, but that will be the point going to Ninjas in Pyjamas, or eUnited, I should say.
They're trying to hold them, like, literally in spawn.
This is actually really good for Ninjas because the gate is just opening now, and they actually have a chance to win this fight now. They get their opening pick, and they will have an even bigger chance to actually win this fight.
Oh, Primal Rage going to be used as well by, I believe, their Fragi into the background, just trying to stall us out for as long as they possibly can. Some Vallutajas in the background, just trying to put in the damage. They are going to be finding frags here and there, but zappis wants to answer him back into the background. Still trading evenly. The cart hasn't actually moved that far here for eUnited. They do have ults to work with into the next push, including an EMP on uNFixed to actually switch to Sombra into the tail end before they capped up that second checkpoint. So it's going to be quite beautiful if they work off it.
This was really good of Ninjas as well. It's taking the fight, even though it kind of seemed like Ninjas wasn't really winning it. But usually, if you get staggers on this point, the cart keeps pushing even around the corner. But now, since it stopped before the corner, Ninjas had a really good position to like actually full hold them there in the very end.
Not to mention the EMP only caught onto 1 or 2 people towards the back. As you did see, unfortunately, that Zenyatta Zuppehw go down, and now Fragi picking himself up a double. He's got to at least stall for this payload a little bit longer, and we know how hard it is to finish off onto Hollywood here with 50 seconds remaining. eUnited, again, have the Dragon Blade ready to go, and they have actually a small window here where Zuppehw and kynnel have no ultimates to actually stop this.
If they wouldn't have like stopped the cart when they did on that the first stagger phase, that fight just happened would have been the last fight, and instead they get another fight because of that.
Oh, sharyk's going to use the Primal Rage to try and keep him locked in. eUnited also have the sound barrier currently initiated onto them. Kruise going to be using the Dragon Blade as well, just trying to slice and dice them down, and he will with the Swift Strikes, claim 2 kills for his team.
Well, let's see if it's going to be enough, though, as you do see NIP going to be respawning in momentarily. Overtime has not ticked down, or at least ticked up to that position, which means NIP are going to be back even quicker. The payload only 4 minutes away from actually pushing back in. They're going to still stagger as many people as they possibly can. Kruise will switch over to Widowmaker as well to provide some support from long range. And Morte picking up a double kill will allow eUnited to finish off the map with 1 second
clutch
remaining.
Yeah.
That is so important coming into the second potential half if we do have NIP finish as well. Can you explain why for us, Tvik?
Why? Don't know.
Okay, well, I'll try to explain it. It means that they'll get a chance to attack. They'll obviously get like a minute of time added to them if we do see NIP complete, which means if they finished in overtime, all NIP would have to do if they say finish with any time left was get that third on the first point. You should know that.
I was confused what you were asking.
Okay, that makes sense. I was about to say you definitely know more about win conditions than I do. So.
I mean, you know, I was thinking something else. It was like why they didn't weren't able to really stalled for the last point.
Yeah.
Okay.
That I couldn't really explain.
I was just thinking maybe your mind was in lust of kebabs since they're so cheap here in Germany compared to Sweden.
It is unbelievably cheap.
It feels kebab, man.
I didn't realize, like, I've always heard the legends of German kebabs being incredible. I didn't realize it. We went out for a meal. It was like €5, a kebab the size of my head. And I couldn't consume it. It was impossible. It was ridiculous.
It seems that you are a noob kebaber.
You need to show me the ways. Show me the ways of kebab eating, but it is going to be the sides going to be switching around for now. That 1.5 seconds, as we mentioned, going to be staggeringly important here for eUnited. And
there's all your subs in chat.
Attack.
I was waiting for all your subs in chat to start spamming some stuff.
Feels good, man.
Where can they actually purchase those emotes? What's your channel on Twitch?
I mean, it's totally not TakeOver.
Oh, okay.
It's not, you know,
Right.
not that
Twitch.tv/
on Twitch and everything.
Okay. You have to check that out.
It's just bad, man.
So NIP on the attack now. It looks like they will be running that 2-2-2 that they seem to well, kind of enjoy, quote unquote, at the moment. Triple tank in this situation on attack, a little bit more difficult, I'd say, to pull off.
I actually would say it's easier to pull this first point to, attack as triple tank rather than triple DPS.
So why is that?
It's just because you, as I said, for defenses, it's even though you're losing players, doesn't mean that you're actually out, because you can really hold your ground as long as you're trading. As long as there's trades, you can still win the fights.
Okay, well, it's going to be the first kill. First blood at least going to Ninjas in Pyjamas on this attack. They bring down sharyk, the main tank, and suddenly there's not really a foothold for eUnited to hold onto. Nip have swarmed all over the point, still haven't claimed the tick yet. hymzi going to be trying to keep them locked into their own spawn room as it stands. Still getting contested for now. I'm not too sure if they have secured the tick or not. I think it might just be over the edge for him. So it's a decent push so far by Nip, and they're finding the frags to follow suit as well. eUnited look like they might try and recontest. uNFixed coming onto the high ground here. Pyjamas will not connect onto him, but he's in a bit of a sticky situation. zappis trying to run him down, but regardless of that, the point will be moving here. 2 Ninjas in Pyjamas. First attempt.
Really enjoying, actually, the cohesion between kynnel and Zuppehw there. We did see vallutaja try to flank around and attack them, and immediately kynnel boops him away, forces him to recall, which allows Zuppehw to play a little bit more free. And considering you're playing Zenyatta on that point where you can be flanked from the top, you can be flanked from behind, from the sides, it's really hard to play Zenyatta so safe, and I think kynnel's allowing him to really excel in that position.
And this triple attack defense that eUnited is playing, it really comes down to whatever Valo can actually get successful flanks off. And if he can't, it's going to be really hard defending, especially the first points.
Oh my goodness, I'm not sure how Kruise got away with that. Using the Dragon Blade with no support ult in boot, managed to find 2 quick and easy kills for them. And Ninjas in Pyjamas being held at this first checkpoint, or the first, I guess, choke point for now. eUnited are still holding on to a few ultimates. Boombox with the Transcendence, so they got a defensive support ult to use if they need to. zappis making the change, I believe, there to... Was he always on the Genji? He must have been.
No, he just
switched. So, Baby Diva from hymzi needs to be trying to build up his own little mech, but he's not quite finding it. Transcendence going to be used in response here quite defensively. Fragi does collect a kill onto Morte, so not all is lost for them, but it's going to be met equally with Boombox's own Transcendence. Now it's going to be the Tactical Visor being used. Sound barrier in response to that as well. A lot of support ultimates coming out here for Ninjas in Pyjamas. uNFixed in a bit of a sticky situation. He gets the pack. Is he going to get out of this alive, though? He's being ran down by both the tanks. Still, Ninjas in Pyjamas coming out on top in this fight.
I feel like that was actually really important that they focused Morte down first, because he didn't have his sound barrier up, and once that trance faded away, he should have been able to charge his sound barrier in time to use it in the midst of that fight.
Yes, exactly. And I really feel like this switch from Genji, from Tracer rather, and just being able to the Genji just got in for free, up on the high ground, and he was just able to choose whatever target he wanted, and this. It just seemed that eUnited just didn't see that he was coming in from a flank, and because of that, Ninjas had a really strong first engage.
Oh, zappis might a bit more off than he can chew there. That's going to be trying to go onto sharyk here. sharyk on about half HP,
Wait,
but
really?
what? Really?
Misfits. C9 Misfits.
Oh my god, okay. They cap it up. The second checkpoint going to be going their way. It's a bit questionable there. Ninjas in Pyjamas thinking that the payload just doesn't exist for a few moments, but...
zappis, he did zone out the 2 supports by himself with the Genji by going in, then dashing away.
True.
And it kind of forced sharyk to retreat a little bit because he had no help and no healing to survive. Maybe he was the man that was supposed to touch the payload, but he didn't have the HP to actually successfully do that. But then again, you have to sacrifice yourself anyways.
uNFixed now on the Sombra as well, but it's going to be the Dragon Blade being used by Kruise once again, looking for the kills into backlines. He's only managed to find Zuppehw, searching for even more, but it's not quite going to be finding them. His team is there to try and back him up. mafu sends out the Helix rockets, doesn't quite claim the kill, but Ninjas in Pyjamas happily just holding on. Going to be grouping up as 6 now, and hymzi gets caught in the tail end of that fight, so they might have to just wait for his respawns, but he is a diva, he can get into the fight relatively quickly. Ultimates-wise, what's the win condition for Ninjas in Pyjamas here in this next push to beat?
Win condition is dodging the EMP. If they can do that, they will probably most likely actually just roll straight to end. If they can't, they're using ultimates while getting EMP. They're probably gonna get stalled here for another 2 minutes.
You can see uNFixed. About half HP, just looking for his opportunity to actually throw that one down, but realize once they've killed Zuppehw, they don't need to invest this big ultimate. Kruise gonna quickly pick himself up. A couple of kills there. I'm actually curious your thoughts on using a Sombra here on this last point for defense. Is that specifically because of this elbow that they're at now, or would you think he would keep his Sombra later on into the home stretch?
I think it's rather that they wanted to play Sombra a little bit earlier, even on the second point, and then they kind of got stuck on it. I didn't exactly see when he switched it, but it's really going to come down to how good Ninjas is going to be able to dodge this EMP, and they kind of screwed up there at the last push by not forcing out any ultimates at all from eUnited. They really need to commit something to force eUnited to respond to them.
Yeah, it feels like right now they're just trying to eco push into them, get them to force out the EMP, but they're just failing to bait it out appropriately.
I mean, so now you can what? You can throw zappis in with a blade and force out Boombox's ultimate, then maybe use a nano visor or vice versa, throw it onto mafu. The problem is, I don't know if mafu can get in a position to really make the visor worthwhile because of how eUnited can be so slippery and be able to escape from this one. But like you said, they're going to force out something. It's going to pop his nano blade with...
Okay, nano blade being used, but the Transcendence in response to it. Kruise is definitely finding the kills. The EMP gets used as well in conjunction to that. The kills thoroughly going in the way of eUnited here, finding all the frags across the board. Zuppehw the only survivor, and that's only because he's just respawned as well. A little dance there as well. Kruise, he's a happy chappy. Look at him go.
It was way too much of an overcommitment from eUnited, but it was exactly what Ninjas needed. But they should have done it a minute ago, like the very first push. They should have done that, and now they're just gonna come back with the offensive ultimates.
mafu, he picks up 2 frags. Both the supports going down for eUnited here with the tactical visor, looking for even more here. hymzi has the self-destruct. He's gonna be waking up the sleeping monkey, just keeping him nice and chipper, nice and awake right now for the time being. Trying to find the frags, but it's thoroughly moving here for Ninjas in Pyjamas. And they've definitely got ults to use into the further push here. eUnited, what have they got to work with? Vallutaja's almost got his pulse bomb, but it's really, when you're up against, I guess, Fragi and hymzi, who both have their ults on their own and they've got the abilities to peel, it's going to be really tricky, I think, for him to find an opening.
I think Valor really needs to find a bomb on the D.Va here, and then just making sure that the uNFixed is completely free. Making sure that the D.Va goes down really quickly so they can just win and drag out fights.
Okay, zappis finding the entry for his team with the pulse bomb. Going to be getting the D-suit as well out of the mech. Primal Rage going to be used as well by Fragi into the tail end of that fight, but he's so weak, has to back off in the end. Going to be finding the kills here and there. Now as the Transcendence used by Boombox, trying to basically stagger out this fight for as long as possible. But now mafu's going to be getting that nano boost. No tac visor on him. He's just going to be using his raw aim and prowess to see if he can finish out this map here for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Finding the kills. Going to be getting the D-suit out of Kruise. Not yet. Kruise answering back with a kill of his own, and eUnited started to get the spawners.
They should really quick reset here. Make sure that at least have 5 members and they just start pushing in again. And as soon as they do, they will have been in a much better position to just finish out the map.
It's going to be a little difficult, though, when Morte does have a sound barrier available. Boombox only at 50% for his Transcendence, but kynnel able to respond with his own momentarily. Zappis with a pulse bomb coming up with just a few, as well as Valu. But now uNFixed, like you're saying before, is this the combo we're looking for? Valu to D-suit hymzi, and then uNFixed just to pop this visor?
Yes, this is exactly what they gotta do. You gotta focus the D.Va really hard, just to make sure that your soldier can be just free farming at them.
Boombox in a bit of trouble. uNFixed coming up above with the tactical visor. Doesn't get what he was looking for, but he forces out the sound barrier at least, and that's going to be doing a decent amount of damage to Nip. Now eUnited with a solid defense. sharyk claims the kill onto mafu, turning this fight into a 5v6. hymzi going to get desuited as well. It's not looking good right now if you're a fan of the Ninjas in Pyjamas. hymzi might going to get brought down. Indeed, he does. All the ultimates being used here by eUnited to just secure their victory. Kruise even with the self-destruct into the tail end. The overtime ticks over, but it's too little too late. As zappis will fall, the overtime will burn down to a crisp.
I think Ninjas did a mistake there by just going up main and not pushing through one of the sides, just making it so that all the spam is just being funneled from just like one big choke point, but it gets smaller because the payload is like wrong answer to how to play against the triple tank by just constantly setting up and just setting up flanks and just making sure that they're like never just standing in a choke point and just spamming back at them.
Well, we're seeing hymzi play the hero that we know him from on his Roadhog here, which again, as you talked about, Sanctum, Nepal. You hook someone off, that's a free kill. I mean, pretty much you hook anyone in, it's going to be a free kill no matter what, even if you don't throw them off the map. But with the tank advantage, with the health advantage, as you were saying before, they're able to get onto the point immediately here and be able to actually get the position that they want. But this also allows eUnited the chance to attack with the route they want because they know where their tanks are going to be, which leaves their supports a little bit susceptible.
Kruise going for a play here, goes for the deflect, is going to be staying alive for now. eUnited have the positioning. Sharyk does claim the kill though, and this is the patient play by eUnited. This is what they were looking for. They've immediately found 2 openings that they can immediately just jump onto. Fragi, however, just doing Fragi things. He jumps into the back lines like a rabid dog, and he's swinging that massive hammer around. Unfortunately, isn't going to be working out for him as eUnited will get the recap, and not a lot of cap time on the board here for Nip. So, I mean, 23%, eUnited now have a foothold in one of the harder maps to, I guess, push out on as well because it's so choky. Was that, how do you feel about that play to Vig coming out of eUnited?
I feel like, I don't know exactly sure how eUnited managed to find the backline so easily, because like the tanks of the NIP did a really good job of just holding the backline of eUnited in a choke point, just making sure that they could not help the diving.
He finds 3 kills of it. The Swift Strike going to be finishing up 2 of them. Fragi realizes it's a swift defeat, and Kruise says yosh to him as well as he falls down into the pits of Nepal. My goodness.
So you say the positioning out of NIP was really, really well placed in the initial start on the point.
Of the start of that engagement, it really looked like NIP was in the control, and it really looked like they were the ones who's gonna decide the outcome of this of that engagement. But it's just team that eUnited managed to find the backline and just swiftly ended their lives.
All right, well, even saw zappis get a little bit aggressive over there towards that side as well, which he eventually got picked off by sharyk, and the kills are still going all blue as Fragi's going to fall to his death. So uNFixed pops him 1 in the face, and that will be another dry run out of NIP, but eUnited didn't have to create any ultimates, and it's actually bought them more time to build up ultimates, especially for the man Kruise here at 67%, who already was able to shut NIP down just in the fight before.
It's almost like a worst case scenario there for Nip. They were going for the eco push, trying to force out eUnited's ultimate. sharyk gets spotted just on his little perch. He could lead back to the safety of his team. zappis actually ends up sending out the pulse bomb. Doesn't connect onto one, but Fragi has the Earth Shatter ready and waiting. He's currently just trying to chase the man to the flank of the map. Promo Rage gets popped. He's going to be charging to try and keep himself alive. The Transcendence is doing a decent job of that as well. So Nip are quite healthy coming into this fight. Fragi's still holding on to this Earth Shatter, looking for a high value, I guess, ultimate, but it's so difficult against this dive comp when it's so spread about. Sound barrier now going to be used as well by eUnited alongside both sides using the support ults. Fragi with the Earth Shatter only connects onto one, I believe, onto Kruise, but that might just be enough for them. Morte, however, answers back. hymzi gets booped off by Morte as well. Ridiculous play coming out from eUnited. The overtime ticking down. They're going to claim round number 1 on Nepal.
That was such a Rorschach moment from the Watchmen, if you saw that. When they went out to sharyk on the outside, like, all right, we got you. There's 5 of us, there's 1 of you. And he's like, I'm sorry, what? And he pops his Primal Rage, and they immediately turn around and run away, realizing, yeah, we don't want to be out here where we could be knocked off the entire map.
You're not trapped in here with me.
I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
Yeah, that's it.
I really feel like NIP really misplayed that. I would have wanted Fragi to just solo ulted the monkey and just making sure that he would die, because he doesn't need to save his Earth Shatter for the offense ultimates, because they already have defense ultimates to answer that. And just making sure that they get that monkey kill just opens up, like, just actually shut down eUnited's dive so heavily that they would just be able to just walk on point basically and just cap it.
There was even an opportunity to catch Kruise with that too, because Kruise was out there with him initially, and he could have hit a double Earth Shatter, but I mean, obviously hindsight's always going to be 20/20 in this situation. We're seeing zappis play the bait here on Village just to lock them in towards the high ground, and we are seeing a little bit of a transition even towards middle as well. I think Valu trying to get in towards the backline here immediately. Zuppehw already very low on HP, and Kruise actually chiming in with Boombox here. So you talked about Boombox being a little bit invisible earlier on when it came to Hollywood, but he's starting to shine here as we hit Nepal.
I really feel like he got in some, I think, a clutch Discord onto the enemy Zen, and that just enabled the eUnited to go really aggressively and find the enemy Zenyatta, aka Zuppehw.
Oh my goodness. zappis just trying to get the executions on. He does bring down vallutaja with a clutch little headshot with the icicle, but eventually is going to get brought down. I'm not too sure about the Mei pick here, because running Mei against the dive never really works out well. What are you two giggling at?
Nothing, just Tivik things. Just Tivik things.
I don't understand what you mean, it's kebab.
But we are seeing the Mei, as you said, and it looks like zappis is going to be switching off that over to Tracer, realizing, well, I mean, obviously it's going to be good for the initial engagement to hold them off high ground, and then potentially if you get the point, because you can wall them off and split them in half if they do try to engage, or even maybe save a support or 2 in there.
That's true. eUnited's positioning, though, in the entire fight was so spread out across the board, and now they're looking for the recontestation here. Nipper moving into this upper side area. They do bring down the front line. Again, sharyk going to be falling pretty early on in this engagement. That's an opportunity for Nip to capitalize off if they so wish. vallutaja going to be taking a little 1v1 with zappis meanwhile. He's a ton of damage, 7 HP, forced to back off out of the fight for now. Kruise also getting ran down will eventually force Aftershock going to be the answer to that as they're looking for openings onto the point. hymzi refreshes his mech back up. Zuppehw in a bit of trouble, going to get ran down by sharyk. They're not quite focusing him down enough, and he's got the primal rage just to keep them off it. But Ninjas in Pyjamas have managed to cap this point up, so they are just basically contesting time. eUnited, however, finding all the kills, so it's looking pretty good for them right now.
Yeah, eventually able to cap this one over, though. Fragi does his primal rage up as well, so he could use it if he wants to keep this point contested, but he's going to go down to vallutaja. And that's going to be hymzi following as well. Eventually, eUnited will turn that one back in their favor, sitting at currently 40%. Now, looking at what they have, offensive ultimate, Zuppehw at 89%, so there's a small window in there. But if you give NIP, what, 15, 20 seconds of time, they'll have double support ultimates up to potentially shut down Kruise and uNFixed.
NIP basically already have both of their support ultimates, so if I were eUnited in this position, I would just be looking to use the blade to just force out either one of them or, well,
potentially both of them. Absolutely, yeah. Kruise forced to back off for now as mafu wants to initiate with his team. Using that tag visor, but vallutaja answers back. He finds the initial kill. And now it's going to be a sticky situation indeed. Going to be searching for further frags here. Morte just gets the soundbar off in the nick of time, but the post bomb from zappis is going to bring them very low here. Boombox in a bit of trouble. He's about 74% away from his ult. Is going to get ran down in the end, and Ninjas in Pyjamas finding the kills after all. Discord orbs from Zuppehw putting in work.
So they win the fight without having to commit a single one of their support ultimates for NIP because of initially forcing Kruise out of the fight when they came high ground with mafu popping the tag visor.
I just feel like it was eUnited's bad play from just not engaging first with offensive ultimates, just making sure that you would just force the ultimates out really early and then just backing off and coming back in.
Okay, well, Nip definitely got room to work with here. Ultimates online. Got the Transcendence. He's going to be using that Dragon Blade on the side of Kruise. He does force out one ult. He even collects the kill onto zappis somehow. The fadeaway slash is going to bring an end to his life. And the Transcendence from Boombox going to be trying to keep eUnited alive as they're still assaulting this point. Still in control of it as well, might I remind you. 91% and counting up. If they manage to get 99%, it's going to be beautiful for them. uNFixed moving in with the attack visor with the defense matrix. It's going to be eating up the most of it from hymzi. Still finding the kills where they count. eUnited definitely going to be trying to strike back. Ninjas in Pyjamas just getting the cap in the final moments though.
It was really good of eUnited to get that cap in while just making sure that NIP uses their ultimates. That bought them enough time to have at least one more just dry push and just basically building ultimates, or they could potentially just force out more ultimates of NIP. But since we can see they don't really have anything, this is a really strong opportunity for eUnited to just close up this round.
All right, well, Fragi does have at least his primal rage to stall for some time if they do need it. But hymzi going down immediately here, that's actually a little bit of a misplay of NIP because they need to hold on to this point here to avoid eUnited from picking up a 2-0 lead here on Nepal. mafu going to be knocked away and almost able to take down uNFixed, but eventually he's going to fall to sharyk here. Now zappis is just trying to stall on the point here where there's just raging monkeys everywhere. Even some Lucio's dropping some beats, but Valu has that post bomb ready to go to throw into someone that they might not even need it at this rate because Kruise and sharyk have been able to chime in yet again. And I think lock down the second point of Nepal. eUnited, keep in mind, if they win this next map that we're going on to Nepal, they have a guaranteed second seeding in the group, which means they have basically 2 lives in the whole tournament because they can lose in winner bracket, drop to a loser, and still potentially come out.
Do they still have a chance of first seed?
No.
If they 4-0?
No, Rogue is way ahead of everyone in this group.
Right, okay. Yeah, interesting round now. Nip really needs to just pull up the bootstraps and get to work, I believe. They're currently 2 rounds down. Can they perform the reverse sweep on this section at least? Are we going to, I believe, is it the Shrine? I think so, it's indeed the Shrine. So sharyk just going to be having a little boogie there on the table.
Can you dance like that, Zuppehw?
Nope.
Can you dance?
Nope.
Yeah, me too, don't worry.
My dance looks like the Soldier 76 emote. Have you seen it? Like the dad dance. I can't dance at all.
I can do the dice move from Knocked Up. That's it.
That's the extent.
Yeah, I can back it up sometimes.
All right, maybe we'll pull it out on stream sometime.
All right, so we're seeing NIP and eUnited go onto Shrine here to set things up with pretty much exact same composition from both teams in the past, as we're seeing Fragi on the Reinhardt this time. And sharyk, tell us your thoughts on this, because he's flanked entirely around NIP.
And I really hope the NIP has noticed it, that the monkey is not anywhere to be found, so they had pushed aggressively, which they hasn't, and he just gets free, completely free on both supports, buying enough time for the, hopefully both of the DPS of
well, yeah, hopefully. Hopefully that would be happening, but unfortunately Zuppehw's got other answers to it. He's going to be answering back with a few more kills of his own. Evens it out in the end for Ninjas in Pyjamas to almost cap this one up. Boombox, however, finds the kill onto zappis, the Tracer Murderer. Searching for the pulse bomb as well. vallutaja does get it, but he's eventually going to be brought down there by mafu's Helix rockets. Still, Boombox putting in the damage for his team. Oh my god. That is filthy.
Am I the only one that's tilted by the fact that Boombox The guy's name's Boombox, and he's playing Zenyatta, not Lucio.
I mean,
Does that...
American.
No, it tilts me. Anyways.
does Lucio even have a boombox?
I mean, isn't his gun a boombox?
It's like a little, it's like a speaker, right?
Yeah, that's
What is traditionally a boombox? What is it? It's like just a box that plays music, right?
Yeah. Yeah, all right.
I like all the sprays that we can see in this game. There's plenty of good sprays.
Boombox is still popping off, by the way. He finds the kill to zappis once again. eUnited in a bit. Again, look at this, just holding on.
It's the leak, dude. Look. It's right
Oh,
there.
yeah, it
Favorite
is.
spray, isn't it?
Yes, it's the best spray.
They know
It's
you're
the
on
only
the,
Yeah,
the
you like,
couch.
what was it, Timothy with the cast on his arm? I don't know
Oh,
what
I
his
never
name-
used them.
I could have sworn you did.
I have never ever switched
I
over
believe
to
you.
leak.
I believe you. But 40% built up for eUnited. They do have quite a few offensive ultimates to use. More only at 50% on his sound barrier. We do see Bolts and Yadas available, ready to go for this. And even kynnel has his sound barrier ready to go. But zappis is the only one who has an offensive ultimate. mafu is just on the cusp of bringing this one out. But eUnited have so much positioning, and Boombox has already been able to do a ridiculous amount of damage.
Yeah, the Transcendent's going to be used here in answer to, I believe, mafu's tactical visor. Indeed, it was. I'm going to be able to find a kill onto Kruise to get a reflect away, but eventually the beatdown does come down onto him, and he finds the kill. Now the sound barrier by Ninjas in Pyjamas, using 2 support ults to try and take this fight. Promo Rage also used by sharyk to try and knock him around the point. uNFixed will claim the kill onto mafu. He's in a bit of a sticky situation, tries to dodge and juke away while he's being healed up. He's going to stay alive for now. Still the point being contested. Nip not getting anything out of that fight. They use so many ultimates as well.
I really feel like NIP really misplayed that because eUnited sharyk really used his ultimate really aggressively, and they had a really good opportunity to just punish him really heavily with a disco orb and just focus him down.
Well, focus fire is something we need to see out of NIP here, considering we're at 90% built up for them. And mafu get initial kill on Kruise does allow them to potentially take this point here, as well as a self-destruct being thrown over the top. Going to connect onto one with Valu going down.
Wow.
Morte does have a sound barrier, but just waiting for some teammates maybe, or maybe just going to hold on to it into the next fight, realizing they've already lost this one. Just going to back off and look for the retake later on. But NIP, they have no room to give anymore. They have to hold the point for the rest of this map.
They do indeed. Otherwise, they're going to be out. That's it. Not out. Well, they're going to be still 3rd seed, but essentially it's going to be opening up these opportunities for eUnited to claim a strong 2nd seed. If they win this map, get 2 maps against Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're in a very solid position coming into these groups. zappis still searching for that pulse bomb. He's putting in bits of chip damage here and there, searching for a bit of an ultimate advantage for his team. But eUnited, they've got Morte with his own Sonic. He's going to be moving in with the own supportive ults, trying to basically take this fight as best as they possibly can. Dragon Blade by Kruise, collects 1 kill, even through it. Now it's going to be the attack visor used by mafu as well, but he's so weak. Tranquility as well, the Transcendence, I should say, being used by Boombox, just trying to keep his team alive. Ninjas in Pyjamas just falling at the seams. It feels they've already lost 2 members of the team. Promo Rage is going to be used to try and stall out this fight for as long as they possibly can on the side of Fragi, but the cap time already 3/4 of the way for eUnited. It's a triple kill in the eliminations factor for uNFixed. The overtime ticking down means eUnited, most likely here, going to be taking Nepal.
All right, so eUnited going to be ranked 2nd out of their groups. That means they play against the winner of the Cloud9 versus Movistar Riders match. That'll be happening after this one finishes off.
Yep.
United did
Not
a
an easy
really
match.
good push then.
Go on, explain.
They did a really good push where Kruise